Hi everyone, how are you all doing? I'm sorry I didn't upload this week's astrology forecast as I was flying and traveling in between cities. I am now back in my hometown, Hong Kong, but I do want to come up and share a couple aspect transit that is happening this week that we can pay attention to because they are quite significant in some way. So the first one I want to talk about is right when I am recording and uploading this video is May 2nd. So today, May 2nd, is the day that all of us, or a lot of us, has been waiting for. Mars is finally out of the post-shadow energy phase. So part 3 of Mars retrograde is officially done. Mars retrograde is officially done. We can all rejoice. Finally, it feels like a lifetime. Seriously, every time when Mars retrograde, it feels like a lifetime. But now that all the personal planets, well, next week, Venus will be out of its post-shadow energy as well. So, but like I said in my last week's video, from the late April to early May, this period of time, this 3 weeks period, is where we have all planets in direct, so until May 4th. And I would say also the first half of May, it feels more, the energy feels a bit lighter because we have all planets in direct motion, especially our personal planets. So you might feel like that, wow, I finally can breathe and reflect on what's been happening in my life, because with all the 3 personal planets retrograde all together, and since December until April, it really feels like that the universe is really asking us to really sit with our emotions and different areas of our life. Things have been changing, unfolding. There might be some endings, beginnings. There might be some sudden information coming in. You might find yourself different because of what is happening around the world, because remember, we are all experiencing all this energy together, individually and as a collective. So as a collective, things are happening around the world, and I don't think I need to remind you what is happening around the world and how it has shaped many of us, right? So perhaps different areas of your life has been affected, the way you see those areas, the way you see your values, how you align with people that share those values has been very different perhaps. So now that we are finally out of the Mars retrograde energy, you might feel like things are starting to flow better, and you are ready to take some kind of action, or you are ready to really just reflect on what's been happening and implement your inspired action to move forward with them, however they turned out for you personally. So that is the first thing. The second thing is a couple of days ago, on April 30th, Venus re-entered Aries. I said re-enter because Venus was retrograde. And this might bring some of us back to the month of February, when Venus entered Aries the first time, then stationed retrograde on March 1st. So you might experience some, you might reflect on what's been happening in the month of February, this and next week, as Venus now retrograde and back into Aries, traveling those points that she was retrograding before in the month of in early February and early March. So your Venus story is wrapping up pretty soon. We have a week or so post shadow energy that we will be traveling through this week and next week, but Venus in Aries is a very different energy compared to Venus in Pisces. Venus in Aries is spicy, is feisty. She's ready to go after what she really wants. She is a go-getter. So you might embody this energy and ready to just take action, to be proactive, be the pioneer to instigate, well, hopefully not instigate, but for some maybe, right? But ready to take action upon what is it that you want. Venus in Aries, you know, about all the Venusian things. Maybe you're ready to review your feelings to someone else. You're ready to take action to pursue that person or to mend a relationship, whether this is a romantic, friendship, family dynamic, or working situation. You're ready to talk about it. Perhaps you're like, you know what, I've been doing some reflection and I want to address something. You know, you're ready to fight for what you think is right and speak your truth, right? Maybe perhaps you were treated unfairly in a relationship and it is time to really speak your mind, express yourself, and whether this is mending the relationship or, you know, parting ways, this is the time to do so. Perhaps there's something that you've really wanted to do. You know, it can be something that really makes your heart happy, like something you want to pursue, a hobby, a dream, something that you're interested, right? Something that you want to learn. This can relate to that as well. Money matters. Maybe you have been thinking about, reflecting on, there's some money goals or investment plan or whatever that is you want to take action upon. This is the time to do so. And Venus will stay in Aries until June 5th or 6th, depending where you are in the world. And on May 2nd, right when I'm recording this video now, May 2nd, right after Venus enter Aries, it will conjunct Neptune in Aries. This is the first time we all in our lifetime experience this energy. But in general, when Venus and Neptune come together in a conjunction, it can go, like I said, energy goes both ways. There's the light and shadow attribute. It can be very inspiring. And in the sign of Aries, this can be not just simply you thinking about a dream that you have in your mind, but actually taking action upon it because it's in Aries. Aries is that pioneer energy, right? Maybe you're not really thinking about the dream, but actually implementing a plan, maybe creating a plan, how you can bring it into reality, how can you pursue it, make it concrete, right? To bring it down into the 3D world, not just dreaming about it or thinking about it. And it doesn't mean that, wow, things are gonna just happen over 24 hours, but it might inspire you to maybe start or initiate a plan or form a plan or so on and so forth. And on the other side, Venus and Neptune can create a fog where you are not seeing things clearly, wearing that rose-tinted glasses, thinking something that is too good to be true, right? And you take action upon it. You're like, oh my God, I really like that. I'm gonna do it. And then it turns out it's not as great as you thought it would be. So that can happen. So also be mindful when you feel like you want to take action upon something, you want to pursue something or someone or situation, really think clearly before you take action as well. Lastly, May 4th, we have Pluto stationary retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. This is the first time in our lifetime that we will have Pluto retrograding in the sign of Aquarius, that Pluto will not dip back into Capricorn. So this is from now on, from this year, Pluto will never dip back into travel between two signs anymore. Pluto will just stay in Aquarius. So for the next few months, Pluto will be in retrograde. And like I said, whenever outer planet retrograde, not that it's not a big deal, but since they are all further apart, they're generational planet, it's more of a collective energy. And those outer planets, they retrograde almost half of their time in the year. So it's not like we will feel their energy a lot or all the time, unless of course your personal chart is aspecting this where they are, you know, then you will feel it more heavily and it will really affect you personally on a personal level. But it's more of the station. So this week when Pluto station retrograde, you know, I would say the few days before and after Pluto stations, you know, retrograde or direct, is when we feel the energy the most. And I would probably make it a little bit more loose because the energy is quite, you know, like a collective level. I would say the week before and the week after is where we feel the station of the planets, the energy of this planet stationing more than the other. So Pluto retrograde is really kind of like digging down to the underworld, bringing things up to the surface for you to look at. So you can take a look and see where is Pluto in Aquarius in your personal chart. You know, is it aspecting any other planets or points in your chart? You might feel those energy more. Which house is ruled by Aquarius? Those topics and themes might be more evident, you know, and this week or next week when we feel this energy more. So take a look and see what that might mean for you. But Pluto will retrograde until October 13, you know, depending on where you are in the world, 13, 14. And we'll, of course, continue to talk about it later on when it aspect other planets and when it's stationed direct again. So this is all the transit and aspect that I want to focus for this week. Next week, we do have a very deep cathartic full moon in Scorpio, more like next Mondays, but you'll feel the energy on Sunday as well. So we'll continue to talk about it, but this week in some way it's still on the lighter side. So I will encourage you all to use this week's energy to help you move forward with the things that you want to, because towards the end of May, we do have other big things happening for sure. So yes, take care of yourself and I will see you in the next video. Bye.